Hello, everybody. Happy Aloha Friday. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Jennifer Folayan, and I am the founder of Spread Your Wings, The Courage to Fly. And I've been invited to be a keynote speaker to the Artizen Conference coming up next week in South Africa. And as you've been following our journeys, you know that I've invited a team of ambassadors to travel with me. And we will share our culture, our art, our stories, along with local artists in South Africa. So I'm so happy to be hosting today's show, which is a special segment of Artisan Stories That Matter, the Aloha version. So I have some special guests today. I'd like to mention my first guest, Lisa Noelani Robbins. She's been an integral part of my life since 2013, actually. During 2013, and I'll say more about that. And I have one of my ambassadors on the line too, Shanna. So again, our program is called Spread Your Wings, The Courage to Fly. We are still in the midst of fundraising. You can contribute, you can support our trip. But let's get started. Let's add to the stream our guest for today. Hey! Happy Aloha Friday! So, like I was mentioning, Lisa Noelani Robbins has been a dear friend of mine since 2013 when I was going through some difficult times. I was separating from my husband. I moved back to Hampton, Virginia, from where I was originally born, and that's where I met Lisa. And Lisa at the time was running the Ohana art studio where she did sewing and crafts and hula and dance. And I started taking the Wednesday night dance classes. And what I loved about going to Wednesday nights is that I never met someone that laughed as much as me. Believe it or not, there is somebody out in the world. Even though she has a twin sister, I felt that I also was a twin sister because we would just laugh and laugh and laugh every Wednesday night, do hula, Tahitian, Maori, and learn all the different cultural dances of Polynesia. And she really inspired me and taught me, what does it mean to be an ambassador of Aloha? And I carried that with me. Then I moved back to Baltimore the following year and created 2 different events called Be More Aloha, which was a day of empowerment for survivors of rape, incest, and foster care youth. And I just really wanted to honor Lisa for her thread of Aloha, for being with me on all those breakdown moments, crying on the floor, but, having laugh therapy, hula therapy. And we danced all over the place. We did festivals and parties and different stuff. And she just really has been a rock for me going through my journey of self-development, leadership, and then now coming to this point to actually travel to South Africa. So thank you, Lisa, and I'll introduce you in a moment. And then Shanna on the line. Shanna is an awesome artist who I met probably over the course of maybe the past year or 2. We just were Facebook friends. I was following all her art. I was like, oh, she's so awesome. And I just took a chance and said, hey, do you want to come to South Africa, see all your work? And she probably thought I was crazy. Like, who's asking me to go to South Africa? But I really appreciate all the hard work that Shanna's done and joining our ambassador team and what she's creating in the world. And she uses dance in a very public fashion for lots of different issues, domestic violence, international issues, immigration. So she's just a rock star in her own right. So thank you for being on the call today.
Hey.
Hey.
Happy to be here. 2 smiling, laughing creatures.
Yes.
Yes, Robo, more. Yes.
Yes. Oh, and I want to mention that I'm wearing a special lei today that Lisa gave me when I was graduating. The reason that I'm doing this trip is that I took a series of self-development courses through Landmark. And so Lisa came up to one of my graduations of the course, and I was gifted this special lei. So thank you.
Well, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. And it is all about the aloha.
So
Teach
Lisa,
me.
I know. Lisa, would you like to introduce yourself and say a little bit about where you're from and what you're up to?
Sure thing. I'm Lisa Noelani Robbins. So aloha no, welcome and hello. I've been in Virginia since 1998. I'm originally from the islands, but I make my home here, and I love being next to the water. I mean, I love being in paradise too, in the islands. But this is nice. The Hampton Roads area is beautiful. I do work a full-time position during the day, whereas I work in the mortgage industry. So, coming to fruition with my native roots is very important to me. So I do have to say that, turning to, our elders, our ancestors, our kupuna, I think that has actually helped me survive my career and daily life, mentally and physically. So that is an important part of who I am. I look forward to discussing these important points about how strong and powerful our ancestors have been through centuries, not just for the last 400 years, but for centuries. And so I really admire our elders, our kupuna, but also my fellow Native brothers and sisters. So I look forward to having that discussion with everyone. Thank you. Mahalo.
Thank you. And so Lisa, she's done so many things. She graduated from William and Mary, raising a family, and she just really shows that, as women especially, like, we can have it all. Like, there's nothing stopping us. So thank you for being that leader in the community. And then Shanna, would you like to introduce yourself, say a little bit about what you're up to, where you're from?
I'll give it a shot. Introductions are always kind of finicky with me.
Yeah.
My name is Shanna Lim. I've been doing performing arts, and I like utilizing it in various fashions. So a lot of times when people see my work, they see it one way, but it's completely different from like maybe the next show that you're going to see.
My kupuna, who are my elder.
Ooh, feedback. I hear an echo. Okay, maybe it's gone. So I enjoy taking the different realms of utilizing performing arts as a tool. I also love to involve body art because I couldn't focus on body art. I had to pick one. Some people were telling me, pick one. So I picked dance. Well, my overall umbrella is artist, but I focus on dance as one of the tools under being an artist. And I incorporated body art in it. So a lot of the stuff that you'll see, it's highly body paint oriented. But utilizing the performing arts in various different ways and finding how I can reach an audience past just I'm here to entertain you, because that's not enough for me. I love connecting to the soul and finding many different ways I can do that, change how a person sees maybe life just that day, or maybe change a spirit, help somebody, raise their spirits, maybe connect with them in a way only a stranger can. Because sometimes I've found that people can be too close. And if you're too close, then it's hard for certain people to open it up. So I really love the stranger on stranger effect, and breaking boundaries in ways that a person maybe wouldn't think that they would risk. For instance, I know it's a time where consent is very prevalent, right? But in my art, I kind of play with that. Like I don't always allow consent to a degree, because if I'm coming up to an individual, because my stuff is very highly audience interactive, and so, but it's in a positive way. It's in a positive way. So if I walk up to an individual and I'm doing some movement, and if I ask them, what happens is they're like, oh, no, you know, and you're in the middle of the performance, so you don't ask. And people won't open themselves up and they won't take risks if you ask them. But if I jump in and just like, here I am, let's do this together. They're like, oh, and they jump in, and there's like this strong connection that builds in this opening up arena that is something that you can't touch. It's there and it's gone, like nature, and I just found that that's such a powerful thing that I love doing. And again, well, my stuff is done in the streets, so that's where the people are, which is why that's where I land my work. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's really important. I just took a workshop for psychodrama, and we were talking about like different ethical considerations, like the use of touch when we're facilitating, self-disclosure. So as artists, like there's a lot of different, like as we're creating safe spaces to explore these things, like you said, there's trauma and different issues that we're dealing with, and how are we interacting with either our audience or our clients, or, those kinds of issues. I think that's really important. So today, since a lot of what we do is movement, I do have some different videos that we can play. We can kind of discuss some different things. So let me just share my screen here. 1 second. So let's just take a look at some different stuff here. Here's something.
I learned the dances through my kupuna, who are my elders, and I pass them on. It's actually a story that we're dancing to. Right? I think it is important to retain that cultural, values and the cultural arts, and preserve them as much as we can. I'm going to be working for a trust that's for Hawaiian children, and that's one of my life goals. And that's, I'm so grateful to be at the School of Business. I'll be able to do that.
That's one video. Then let's take a look over. Let's see. Okay. So, 1 second. So this is Shanna's website here. Just taking a look at some different examples.
You'd have to go into the performance tab.
Oh,
Okay.
only known to me. And for those who hate me, the more you hate me, the more you help me. And for those who hate me, the more you hate me, the more you help me. And for those who hate me, the more you hate me, the more you help me. And those who love me, the more you love me, the more you hurt me. And when I go to bed at night, I see some children in the light, fighting or no shadows behind my mother's back. And although I don't understand the dreams, I know somewhere there's hope, there's hope, there's hope somewhere, there's hope. I dream, I smile. Whoa. You might not say that it's a wonderful world, and it's a wonderful life, and it's a wonderful day. Just yesterday.
That was good.
Ah,
It's beautiful.
Both of those are so
Thank you.
inspiring. Like I mean, that is art. It moves us. And both of you are intervening in a global manner. Like, who would have thought that dance and art, like what we're talking about, of really healing communities? I mean, what's coming up for you as we're looking at those clips? Either of you is welcome to jump in.
I think for me, it's well, dance is across, it's international. It's a thing that connects people when you have language barriers. You just go up and you move together. It's definitely an art form that crosses boundaries, and the way and the method that you do it really takes from the individual on how you direct and what your heart is like, and how how to connect with individuals from where they're at, empathizing, like from where each of us, for where you come from, Jennifer. For I don't know your history, Lisa. For many people that I know that have like really strong things that they've overcome, and when you bring that to the table within your art form, what a powerful thing, because it opens up a humility and a humbleness, like speck in you, that other people can sense. I feel. I think they feel that in the art. Yeah, and it's just the humanness, connects. So I'm interested in how we're all human, and we all love, and we all get angry, internationally, no matter where you go. We have different cultures, and we have different styles and things like that. But what is it going to look like when we go where we are, and the individuals that have gone through maybe the same thing within a different ecosystem, and within a different type of way of growing up, but having the same type of struggles, and being able to connect with our art forms. Maybe some of them do the similar thing, but in a different way. We can learn from each other, and then expand and reach out. Like, I'm fully open in here for it.
It is truly universal. And prior to Jennifer's wonderful invite to me, I began to reflect about the healing powers of hula. Like, yes, I'm so blessed I met you 8 years ago, and each day is like a happy, like a reflection, because I have had some trauma through my life. I just use and reflect through my journey in the eyes of hula. And I have a degree in finance, but the true power for me is knowing our history, knowing our mana, our power. Our ancestors gave us these skills, tools, knowledge, and I feel that is even more of an importance, because it carries through generation. And I was very moved by that piece, Shanna. That was incredible. I almost was tearing up here, but I feel that the energy, when we dance, we also take it off stage. So what that means is we do advocacy work within our community, maybe raising funds for people that are in need of food, for example. So it really is, hula has that healing power, but it also has the community community engagement that we try to accentuate and try to make part of our journeys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really beautiful. I remember in one of our hula classes, like we did different styles. So like what's called kahiko. I remember like really feeling connected to like the chanting and something about it that felt resonant to even like my indigenous roots of chanting or different styles. And then we have different styles with Polynesian dancing. But I was just also reminded, like, as we were watching both of those clips, like Lisa, how you talk about your ancestors, and oftentimes in hula, we may be, talking about Pele or fire and water, and also like drawing from those roots, but intervening in a political way. Like we went up to the Mohegan reservation that one time. We were intervening in a political way, or the poster behind me with the Mauna Kea. These different issues with climate change, water crisis, and then as Shay was dancing, like this rising from the ashes, that there is hope.
Yeah.
There is all these elements and different things. It's just really exciting to be able to communicate that and how it crosses the different ancestors. I don't know if you want to say more about, like, when did you start becoming connected to your roots? Was it always there? When did dance become important to you growing up in Hawaii?
Our culture back in Hawaii, we are taught as very young children. So I started really young. My mom was a hula dancer, though she doesn't want to admit it right now, but she was very graceful. She did the pageant thing, and, she didn't want to continue, of course, but she still dances with, informally with our family and friends. And then my grandparents also danced. So it was an integral part of my culture. At the time, I just thought it was like telling stories and, giving thanks, going over history. Now it's so much more like a platform. And like how you were describing, Jennifer, about, Mauna Kea, because there is conflict with our native people versus having a telescope built on our sacred mountain. Well, we are getting more vocal with dance, art, music, a lot more. I guess I don't want to call it a renaissance, but it's a reinvigoration. People are woke. They're waking up even more so. Even the young folks, they realize that our ancestors, our kupuna, knew what they were talking about, because we stand up, we use our artistic, skills, abilities. That can be hula dancing, that can be, writing music of protest. I mean, it's deeply ingrained now. But yes, I did learn at a very young age, and I still dance. I do dance like maybe once or twice a week, and I try to continue on because it is good for your body, mind, and soul, to continue dancing and to continue being connected. I think that's a huge factor. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Shanna, when did you start dancing? You were breakdancing before you could crawl, like spinning around on the ground.
I was never a breaker. I was never a breaker. I started out in my bedroom, in my living room, in front of the mirror, dancing to all the music videos. But I it really picked up steam when I was in high school, and going to all the my Latino friends, like all the house parties. So I was like, just loved my, Latino family. And
so
there was the, salsa and merengue and so forth. And they're the ones that introduced me to the the club culture of and how I learned about house music,
Mm.
you know. But at that time, you know, I was also had my hip hop, you know, in the reggae community. So I was like large in that scene. But everything when I started out was just like off of like it was just human. There was no like, you know, formal. It was like the streets and the cultures and you know individual the huge parties and all of that stuff, and it was just like it just became like a focus, and then I was like, oh shoot, there was a school for this. You could actually go and learn this stuff and like get a job and major in it. I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And I tried that. It didn't work out too well.
Mm.
I tried to actually go into a system where they train you, and that did not. My body was like, no.
Yeah.
You know, we don't like it. It was just painful. So I left that, but then I came back into it and got formal training, and that, you know, it immersed modern and classical and involving more out. So there was like the street community of dance of hip hop, reggae, and acid jazz and Latin culture, and then it was like modern dance, and I also did like Thai dancing with Samapa for a bit, and highly influenced by the Bhutto community and culture of dance. So
Nice.
all of that stuff, I'm just like, I ate it.
Yeah.
I love ballet. Ballet hated me. But there's remnants of it.
Yes.
In there, you know, but altogether, you know, now it's like a theatrical expressionism thing where, you know, everything fuses and comes out whenever it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nice, beautiful.
Yeah, I like that blend of cultures. We got some comments from our listeners. Chris says, hello, Financial Unity. Greetings, artisans. Makana said, hi, Mommy. Hi, Jennifer. Fida says, thank you for all that you do. Godspeed. Thanks for tuning in. Anthony says, great stuff. So I know, Lisa, you may need to jump off, but I'll just show another video before you have to leave, since you're Miss Financial. busy woman. But let's watch a little bit more. Let's see how I get back to my screen here. So I just want to show some of our tours. This was Polyfest.
Yes, it was at Polyfest, and you know, hula was made. You know, it used to be about storytelling, things like that. Then it began to be about entertainment.
Yeah.
So I try to. I'm not saying. Well, I try to kind of coordinate, whereas we're respecting the past, but also the present. You know what I mean? Where we do want to like make sure that it's not just about entertainment, that there is a story behind it, and that it's value, you know, where it's more than just a dance.
Yes.
But I missed that dance.
Yeah. Here's the keiki.
A little one.
There was a sunny little funny little melody. It was started by a native down in Waikiki. People gather a crowd down beside the sea, and they play this game of wine chatting. Soon the other little maiden started singing it, and the hula hula maiden started swinging it like a tropical storm.
Yeah, the kids really enjoyed dancing their story versus reading the story. So they really caught on fast. Yeah, and the implements, you know, it was like being in you know, live and in action. I think it matters to especially the keiki children and OPO. So yeah, you can see how like they just, it didn't matter that they had to be exact and everybody
Yeah.
had to be, in that, moment, like they would be more receptive to learning the story and just enjoying themselves. And this one I remember from ODU.
But Lisa, can you tell me how you said the children were happier dancing their story versus telling? So if there's an option, like, were those specific traditional dances that you taught them, or was it that they had a story and they created according to that story?
It's the former. They would dance according to what the choreography is. But eventually we would teach them, like, if they were to write their own stories, dance their own songs, because I didn't want it to be, how it's like standardized, or the metric is learn the dances but don't be creative. I wanted to give that element so that they knew they can write their own stories, dance their own songs, things of that nature, because a lot of like Native people, they're not able to, or they don't feel it necessary to write their music or write their songs or dances. So I did try to get that as part of the curriculum.
But in regards of your dance in hula, is there a similar to Indian and those different forms where each movement has a word, or it tells a story? So if you were to have a separate story, you could put these different gestures
Yes.
together, and that would express the story versus it having to be a specific form.
Right. See, there's traditionalists, and then there's the ones that believe that hula should evolve. I'm in between because I believe that there's value in both. So yes, we stayed with traditional dances, movements, and forms, but I'm also, I've always been open to evolving the art, the practice of dancing hula, because the young children, they shouldn't be conformists. And that's one of the things that I try to balance between traditionalism and then actually creating their own and evolving the culture, the dances, the thinking. I didn't want them to just think one way. So yes, that is a good question, because I do think about that a lot, that I don't want to just be traditionalist. This is the only way and the only way that our students can learn. They should also have their minds open to creativity, to do whatever they want with the foundations and values that were set. So that's what I've tried to emphasize through my teaching.
Nice. I would like to be taught to tell my story through hula.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to go on tour. We're going to get Lisa on our next tour. Just playing a little bit more, and then
And we are going to do a song.
I think that's what Lisa is like really did with her classes, is like we all belong, we all have a chance to express ourselves and learn traditional and modern ways of expression, and really feel empowered in our own bodies. And what I liked is, like, as I was working through different things, like even self-image, like being of a certain size, I found that like hula and all that, like I could be whatever size I wanted, but like feeling grounded in my body. We dance barefoot, using our arms, expressions, like water, like all the elements, like feeling really connected. And I think that's what Lisa fostered in our classes, is that like self-acceptance and love, which is another layer up. You can see like, the little girls having fun.
I resonate those feelings. I truly believe that I try to be the vessel or the implementer of that kind of a way of teaching, not just ourselves but others, like carrying it on. But I do want to, I do still want to emphasize that, and I still do. Many of those young folks, those keiki, they have grown up, and I still see them they have good values, family values. They're in college or in the military, so this is when they're young, but most of them are older. They're now like in their teens or entering college. So it has been, I think, over time, it has been a positive experience for them.
Mm-hmm. I like that one move where we like bring our arms down because I always felt like I'm an empowered
Strength.
woman. Like
Yes.
strength, mana wahine.
That was my theme, and I think it's important, and as well as you, Shayna, where I felt your mana, your power in your dancing. And I feel that, those certain moves that I kind of choreographed, that it brings empowerment to ourselves, but also to the audience that watches us. You feel that mana.
Yeah.
While I'm watching this, I see how this could easily be translated into folks that have various abilities.
Yes.
And those that are prone to just being seated, your elderly or wheelchairs. This could definitely be. I could totally see it cross and hula being taught. And
yeah, I have taught senior citizens, and there have been studies made that it's good to combat like hypertension, cardiac issues, and even diabetes. So even if we know that our ancestors knew what they were talking about, and they had, we knew that it was healthy. I still try to implement like.
Well, I didn't mean it in an exploitive form.
Yeah. I mean, I try to do that, but right now, due to like COVID, in-person classes are kind of on a low key basis because I work through Parks and Rec. I've not had my studio for a while, like a physical location, but once everything settles down, I'm definitely looking to explore that side more than ever, because I do think that hula's for everyone, dance is for everyone. I think that's a huge part of, even in these times,
Definitely. So let's look at some of Shanna's work here. Shayna.
We don't have to watch this whole thing, do we? You can right long. You
watch a little bit. We'll watch little clips.
Okay.
We're taking a tour into your world now. The emergence from the shadows. On the stage of life.
I like bubble tea, y'all. If you ever want to know a gift,
bubble tea.
It's gone, but it had bubble tea in
Well, you didn't bring us all bubble tea.
There.
Oh, wow. Yes.
So Michael Bowie there, one of the baddest bassists in DC, he worked with me in doing the stand-up bass in the Dirty Justice film.
So Shanna, do you visit different locations, or do you just work in the DMV area?
Oh, I'll go any and everywhere. Please, take me. Take me.
So what was this piece about?
Okay, so Michael Bowie was doing this piece was a theme on justice. And I think if you can read there,
Love never lets justice die.
Yes. So he pulled me on as a collaborator, and the theme of his whole show, had that essence to it. This was just a snippet. I also did audience work where I went out into the audience and I guess built like a little tension and break moment. That kind of played off of like, do you see things that are happening and do you react or do you not react at all? Like the idea of the bystander. There's a psychological term for that. Was it the book of that tells you the mental disabilities on a level? There's something that's called when you are with a group, you just become the group versus you're not your own self anymore, which is what we witness all the time. But when one person jumps in to do something, all of a sudden someone else will go and someone else will go and someone else will go.
And then I'll pull up another clip. I love all of the work here. Let's see.
I wish you had the happy grumpy. Unless you want to pull up the dirty justice, which is more like activist. But
where's that one at?
Oh, well, I just sent you you just have the IG promo link.
Oh, okay.
Or the video's on my IG page.
Oh, okay. We'll watch some of the this here.
Of stage work to the streets.
This was
with professional dancers, and really create some amazing stuff. I was all over it.
Oh, cool.
Being able to take the quality of the stage to the streets puts me in a place where the people are.
He's touring the world right now.
Oh, wow.
He's absolutely amazing. He just won.
And it's about human connection.
He won an award.
To be able to take an everyday moment of a monotonous life or a monotonous day that they may be spending, and to be able to break that. So in a performance, I tend to get a lot of feedback of understanding, connection, feeling, mood, tears, and that's the stuff that's powerful. I love seeing that it is possible for me to connect in different ways without words. It's a type of human connection that you normally don't see in performance.
I will have to say though, that always gets me when I hear myself say that in the video.
Looking for me is human
because that stuff that I'm talking about, the connection, that stuff is hardly ever recorded. I have a lot of footage of like the more entertainment side of the things that you see, but when I'm actually connecting with people, as it seems like it should be, it's not caught. It's not on camera.
Yeah.
And it can be very private. I did a show by the People Festival a couple years ago, and it was done at the National Mall, and it was just one-on-one. Nobody was recording. And it was just meeting with individuals and like adjusting their structure, adjusting their spine and staring in their eyes, having them look at certain words that were in like the art exhibit and responding physically and like how they express that and how I met them there and did little mini duets with them. That stuff is not recorded.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, there's so many different layers as we're talking. the layers of connection, the layers of who are we when we show up in the world as artists? Do we have social responsibilities to all these different issues? And then like the unseen things that you're talking about, like we do art not just for performance, but really to change ourselves and to connect with those around us. And so I think that's really important to keep in mind. We're keeping all these different layers in mind, and especially thinking about going to South Africa or just everything that's going on. I guess as we're kind of in the last 10 minutes, maybe I don't know what's coming up for you, Lisa, as we're looking at all these different perspectives and things.
Well, I'm planning. Of course, I work in the mortgage industry, so a huge part of what I do is to get people in homes. But it's not for like. I work for a nonprofit, so I'm in Virginia. That's one of my huge kind of a goal or an initiative is to help people live in a healthy environment. And then also integrating hula as part of our daily lifestyle. I still dance at home. I don't do any public performances just yet because I just want to make sure that, being safe and all, because around our area, there's spikes in infection. So I want to be careful of that. But I'm still going to continue on with our hula. I call it the hula advocacy because we're not just dancing, we're kind of doing it, changing the world globally. And thank you for inviting me, Jennifer. I enjoy this conversation. Shanna has inspired me to be even more fiery. We are all mana vahine. We're powerful women. And I think we should appreciate and love ourselves for that.
Yes.
I mean, we do so much, we do so much in the world. Yes. But thank you, Jennifer. And it's nice to meet you, Shanna. I do look forward to continuing on and doing what we do, spreading the aloha, spreading the healing power and the power in general of what dance and arts. I mean, it doesn't get better than this, does it?
No. Yeah, definitely. Shay, did you want to share anything or?
I'll share my son. Come say hi.
Hey, son. Son. Hi, son.
Cool.
Hi.
Hey, nice meeting you. Cool. The next generation.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's been dancing with me for years, like from a child and up. Him and my other son are going to be in the next dance video that is produced by Words, Beats, and Life, which I am the dance educator for.
Oh, cool.
In street style right now, I'm teaching. Yeah, so any kids for ages between 12 and 22, please come. We're teaching class for free. Okay, in all different formats of in elements of hip hop. So, but I'm doing street performance, working with another amazing Vietnamese young woman. She's teaching mask making, so she's doing masks, and I'm doing the movement and dance aspect, and we're coming together. So every I don't even know how I led into that. It's going from my son. Oh yeah, the Words, Beats, and Life. Okay, so the next video that we're doing, that's for you, hon. The next video that we're doing is coming out in mid-November. So you're gonna see dancers from Congo. We're all youth. This one is focused on youth, which is why my boys are in it. Congo, Uganda. We'll have more like the teens and young adults. Congo has the Invisible Kids, which They're all little ones, and they're just beautiful. And if anyone is interested, I host classes for them sometimes. So if anyone wants to just join in a class, probably Monday or Wednesday, just message me, and the money goes to sending food to their youth community that they run.
Wonderful.
As well as helping maybe one of the kids go to school for the year. And that's all just by joining taking a dance class. So yeah, and then there's also the locals from this area. We have the lab, and these are breakers. I'm not the breaker. But you have DQ from the lab, and you have my man Bam from Fresh Academics. They're gonna they're gonna be in the video. And then you have my niece, DJ Cool Flash. She's 14 years old, and she's already like killed it internationally as a DJ. So all the youth come together. So it's going to be really nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for being on today. I know people, thank you for joining in our lunch hour. So if you need to buy a house, contact Lisa. You need some financial advice, Shanna.
You want to buy bubble tea, send it to me.
Bubble tea. We all got to get together for bubble tea. Some dancing. But I really love both of you. Thank you so much for being in my life and for being who you are. And we'll have more conversations coming up. For those tuning in, you can also register for the international conference, the Artizen Conference. Look for our links on our page. And thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Have a
Aloha.
great day.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Tuambo